Let's bring in Brian Scalabrine here. He's the co-host of the Starting Lineup. It airs weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., Sirius XM NBA radio. Where was your confidence level, Brian? Thank you for being on with us.
No problem.
Are you like Amin says, were you out there saying to yourself, if only I had the opportunities, if only politics hadn't gotten in my way, I would have been Dwayne Wade?
Better than
Dwayne
Wade.
I think the opposite. Like, I would think, how lucky was I to play with Jason Kidd or Kevin Garnett? If I wasn't with those guys, I would not be on your show right now, and no one would be talking about the White Mamba.
All of that said, though, you can still go to a Y anywhere in the world and totally dominate, correct?
That gap is closing. I'm getting older, and I'll tell you, these kids are getting better, younger and younger, man. They're good. So I would say 10 years ago, 100%, but not as much anymore. You'll be surprised.
All right. Did you ever do that? Tell me the time that you went in and felt best about yourself because people were underestimating you for whatever reason, and you just started throwing down dunks in a gym somewhere.
So the difference is I actually don't feel good about myself. I think it's like a foregone conclusion. How could anybody actually think that you could beat me? It's mind-boggling to me. So I go in those games like this is another one of these examples, like this is a joke. But here's the thing. Like, I'm a pro athlete. I don't think I can hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. I don't think I could tackle a running back or guard Gronk on an out pattern. But for whatever reason, people think, oh, I could do that when it comes to NBA basketball. I find it surprising, and it kind of makes me lose a little bit of faith in common fans that evaluate basketball.
See, Scal, the funny thing about all of this is that people always are I don't know why you're the poster child for this sort of challenge, right? Like, I could score against Scal, or I'll give Scal buckets or whatever. But this is you as an NBA player. My question is, prior to being in the league, what was your experience like playing basketball? Was this something that followed you throughout your basketball playing career prior to being an NBA player?
So I'll tell you a real quick story. I went to Michael Jordan's basketball camp after my first year at USC. George Raveling told Jordan to draft me on his team so we would play the college kids after camp. I'm hearing this conversation. Jordan said, "Come on, Rav, the white boy." And Rav said, "Trust me, he's really good. You're going to love him." Mike said, if I don't love him, it's on you. I played like the best basketball. Mike stamped me the whole week. From that point on, I mean, like, my confidence was off the charts. So, yeah, I had a lot of confidence in myself, and it was built off of like little moments along the way. And I think that's a hard thing for people to understand. I wasn't in high school and then the next day in the NBA. There's like hours and hours and hours of playing and going and playing at UCLA with Magic Johnson. And I'm in all those games. So, of course, you're going to realize, like, this guy's a lot better than me. But you make a few shots in a game, like, that builds confidence. And that's what people have to understand. There's hours of work in basketball against elite people who you watch on TV and you think are like superheroes, where you're like, blocking out a guy and getting a rebound. So you start building confidence in yourself like that. Now, I never thought I was going to be in the NBA until I went to Summer League, and I realized, like, you know what, dude, I'm better than a lot of those guys.
Guys, I don't want to make any claims or any things, but
Jesus, here we go.
I think the haters have one. I always want the smoke with everybody. There's somebody I do not want the smoke with, and that's the White Mamba. I've seen what he can do on a basketball court. Me versus him.
He doesn't know who you are. This is not a compliment.
I'm setting it up for Dan, Amin, and Stu, the haters.
You've played against him, or you just
no.
watched him play basketball?
I know his game. I've seen him embarrass people that are very good, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm good.
Mr. White Mamba,
I could do it to Amici, but
he thinks he can beat John Amici.
No.
Exactly. Thank you, Scal.
No.
It's a bit of leading the witness here, Mike.
People think I'm like I'm 6'2" or something like that. Man, I'm 6'9".
Agreed. People think I'm 5'8". It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Thank you.
Stop talking to him like he played the NBA.
It bothers Brian, and it should bother Brian that the people watching this, studying it, talking about it, cheering for it, don't actually understand it. That they don't understand how good this human being was at basketball.
Fully agree.
Yeah, but so there's this thing that came out on Instagram the other day where Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were talking to Brad Stevens about how it used to be in Boston when we were there. And so Paul Pierce is like, yeah, man, we'd get here early, play one-on-one. And Brad said, like, yes, who were some of your toughest games? He was like, man, Tony Allen. So we all like, yeah, of course, Tony Allen. Then he was like, yeah, Scal, man, he was tough. It was tough to go against him every day. And I would go to practice and play Paul Pierce one-on-one. I'm like his practice dummy, right? But just think of what that does to you as a player. You're going against like a guy, or I'm guarding Kevin Garnett in practice. I'm not getting smoked by these guys. So what do you like when a normal person comes up to me? What do you think I'm thinking? Like I've gone against the best. Well, I'm not going to be afraid of anybody else outside of that.
But in Tony's defense, he's
That's what I was
going up
trying to
against a 42-year-old Carlos Arroyo at the Y.
And
He's
Fab
quick.
Mello. Fab
Yeah.
Mello.
Rest in peace. Rest in
Fab
peace,
Mello
by the
in
way.
high school.
Fab Mello.
Stood tall in that 2-3.
Yes,
Tall.
True.
One of true. He says yes. It is.
Thank you. Co-signed.
Everyone
Scal,
knows.
the white
Mama stamped me just now. Thank you.
No, he did.
Hashtag
He
real
stood
Hoopers
tall.
know.
He did.
Real
He
Hoopers know, baby.
He did. He stood tall in the 2-3. Everybody knows that. Scalabrine, please, because I've heard so many great and crazy Kevin Garnett stories that he's a lunatic, that he's simply not sane. And I want some of your best ones. Can I have a good one?
Sure.
Garnett story of he's really nuts.
Well, there's one story in particular that stands out. Like we were like for whatever reason, it was our 2008 team, and everyone was arm wrestling for whatever reason. That team was like borderline psychotic. But so the Big Baby, it was clear that he was the strongest guy. Like he was by far the best. He was crushing everybody, embarrassing people. I think he hurt Eddie House's shoulder. That was an issue all year.
Why was Eddie arm wrestling?
Of course, Eddie was. Of course,
Yeah,
Eddie
like
was.
we're egotistical maniacs. That's who we are, right? So that goes along for like a week, and we're on a plane. I think we're coming back from Toronto, and Kevin Garnett says, "All right, man, I got you, Funk." And I'm thinking, I don't know why you said that. And then we're going to arm wrestle. Like KG and Big Baby are going to arm wrestle on the plane. And so they sit down, and I believe in Kevin Garnett. I will run through a wall. I think that dude can help us win. I think the world of him. If he says he's going to do something, I believe him. But for whatever reason, I did not believe, and nor did anybody on the plane believe that Kevin Garnett was going to beat Big Baby. Like it's physics. Like Big Baby's 350 pounds. Garnett is, 250. And so Paul Pierce stands up with the money, right? And he's like, I got all bets on Kevin Garnett. So I don't even gamble. I pulled out my 10s, my 1s, my everything. I put it on Big Baby, right? Like, all the money was on Big Baby. So Paul Pierce has it must have been $10,000, $20,000. Guys, if you feel like there was free money out there, you would jump on that. So, all right, we got all this money on the plane. We got these two guys about to arm wrestle, and the arm wrestling starts, and KG just stares at Big Baby and doesn't move. And Big Baby's he's trying to get him down, and Garnett's like, kind of like stone-faced, not moving. He's like, I ain't moving, Funk. I'm not moving. And he kept saying that, and Big Baby kept trying and trying. All of a sudden, Kevin Garnett goes, there it is. And he starts to move. Big Baby starts getting worried. Bam! He arm wrestled him. Paul Pierce is picking up all this money, and he's like, oh, I got the money. Kevin Garnett stands up, and he's drenched, sweating, and he turns around on the plane where there's like kids on the plane and media people and everything. Turns around and it's like, I'm the alpha male in this blankety blank. I'm the silverback gorilla in here. The whole plane was going nuts. The coaches were there watching. It was insane, but it's a great example of his will. He should not have won, but it's hard to beat him because his will is something I've never seen before.
If this were a heist movie, though, it would now be revealed that Big Baby Davis was in on it and got 40% of the money.
Instead, it's over the top.
Instead, it's the Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movie, Over the Top.
So Dan, the funny thing about this roster has the highest concentration of crazy personalities on one team in NBA history. Listen to this.
Scott Pollard.
Scott Pollard. Scott Pollard is quote unquote a mild one, right?
Well, let's have him vote here. Let's have him rank them.
Let me just say the names.
There's a lot of crazy.
Let me just say the names.
Right, yeah.
Ray Allen, right? Different dude. Tony Allen, crazy. PJ Brown, different dude. Sam Cassell, hilarious. Glenn Davis, hilarious. Kevin Garnett, insane. Eddie House, hilarious. Kendrick Perkins, hilarious. Paul Pierce, insane. Scott Pollard, insane. James Posey, insane. Leon the Showboat.
Rondo.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Gabe Pruitt, who I don't know is on the playoff roster or not. And then Rajon Rondo, and then, of course, Scal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at Scal. Are you the only normal person? And you're not normal, by the way, but you might be the most normal person on this roster.
Don't judge me until you hoop with me, man. You don't really know me. Everyone thinks they know me. Listen, I'm a happy guy. I smile a lot. I do all that stuff. But ask anybody who has hooped with me what I'm like, and they will tell you that I'm cold-blooded, man. I had to be that way to make it. I'm not making it unless I'm a little psychotic. So I'm kind of like that too. And by the way, you know this. In the NBA, there's good crazy and bad crazy.
Right.
If you put enough good crazy together, it's a melting pot of pretty successful people. Now, there is an expiration date on good crazy, but not that year. Like we probably felt like if Garnett didn't get hurt in 2009, we would have won again, because that just had this it was the elite competitive guys and everyone one-upping each other. It was egotistical maniacs in a positive way and not a negative way.
The Heat and Celtics have had a lot of legendary battles last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. They met up again, and there was some local debate as to whether or not that Jimmy Butler shot at the end, that pull-up three, was a good shot. But every Celtics fan or former player that we've had on has revealed that they were really terrified when Jimmy Butler pulled up with that shot, which has convinced me that that was a good shot. White Mamba, was that a good shot?
Yeah, I mean, that was in the NBA, doesn't that shot drop? When that shot went up, didn't you expect it? And Jimmy Butler, who's not a great three-point shooter, don't you expect that to drop? So, yeah, I was terrified. And by the way, the Celtics had a 13-point lead that disappeared in like a minute 34 seconds. So, yeah, I was terrified. And, one thing about Miami, Spoelstra, I don't care what happens this year, they're always going to be ready for the playoffs.
Let's do this with Scalabrine. I remind the audience again, co-host of the starting lineup. It's weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, Sirius XM NBA radio. I'm going to ask you the top three craziest guys on that roster, going 3, 2, 1, however it is that you want to do it, but you have to start with the third one. From all of those names, you don't need them recited again, right?
He knows who he played with.
Number 3, according to Brian Scalabrine, number 3 craziest on that roster was?
Well, you have to ask. I want to know. You want the good crazy or the bad crazy?
All right, we'll do two different lists.
Let's do lists.
We'll do two lists.
Yeah.
Do the good crazy first.
Good crazy.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Rajon Rondo. Sly, good crazy.
Number 2.
Paul Pierce is good crazy.
Number 1.
Kevin Garnett is good crazy.
All right. And now the bad crazy. Number 3.
Tony Allen could be bad crazy.
Number 2.
Scott Pollard is bad crazy.
And
He is. It's good to know.
And number 1, bad crazy.
Big baby's bad crazy.
Thank you, Brian. Good seeing you. Good talking to you, sir. One more question on your way out the door.
Was Paul Pierce faking that injury against the Heat 08?
Well, I know this. When guys sprain their MCL now, they miss 6 weeks. That dude missed 6 minutes. So you can take it how you want to take it. You guys, people want to make fun of him getting in a wheelchair. Give me the wheelchair and coming back 6 minutes later. The dude's missing 6 weeks, and what's talking about is he ever going to come back?
Thank you, Brian. Good talking to you.
See ya.
Let's go to the Wheel of Sounds. Here's what we've got on the Wheel of Sounds, Stugotz. We've got Fred VanVleet.
Oh, this is a good one.
It is good, but we've got to hope that it lands on that.
What else?
We've got Draymond Green.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
He scorches Dylan Brooks in a way that not many athletes have been scorched. We've got Mad Dog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the sound was on Mad Dog. What was the topic? Do you remember, Chris Cote? Do you remember what it is?
Selfies on
airplanes.
On planes.
He's just ranting. No, airplanes going down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did a plane crash recently? There was something where somebody was taking photos in a plane going down. He's just like, who would do that?
Yeah.
Little glimpse for you.
We also have a sound of an MMA fighter challenging Jimmy Kimmel to a fight.
Oh, that one's good. That one's good. I heard that one.
And Michael Irvin also crying during his defamation lawsuit press conference.
I didn't hear that one. Hold on.
Let's see. Let's spin the wheel of sound,
New
please.
wheel here. It sounds like the same wheel.
No, brand new
it's
wheel.
Totally different.
Brand new wheel.
What did it land on
Got
there?
lights on it.
It looks like Draymond Green.
This is from the Volume podcast that he does. And Dylan Brooks the other day said that he thought that Draymond Green was unlikable, doesn't like him at all, that he'd be just another player if he played in any other system. His game is cool, but he'd be just another player if he played in another system. And this is not the guy you want to go against here. He is a world-class talker. He fears no one in this public space, and he just eviscerates him.
This idiot said, I don't know what Draymond does out there. He said, I don't like Draymond at all. You don't know me. I just don't like Golden State. I quite frankly wouldn't like a team that beats me all the time either. I don't like anything to do with them. Quite frankly, you were a little kid in high school watching us win championships. Should be happy that you even witnessed that, or maybe college, but you get the point. You're a fan. Draymond talks a lot. You talk a lot now, so if you have 4 rings, sure, you talk a lot more. For All-Stars, you probably talk a bit more. Defensive Player of the Year, you for damn sure would talk more. 2 Olympic gold medals, you definitely would be talking, because that would mean you beat Team USA, and we all know how that goes, so gets away with a lot, too. What exactly do I get away with? I have 15 texts, 1 less than your dumb ass. Okay, great. His game is cool. If you ever wondered why the Memphis Grizzlies is not ready to compete for a championship, look no further than this idiot right here. They're actually depending on this guy to help them win a championship. And he says his game is cool. Quite frankly, that just shows how little you know about basketball. And yet, you running around talking about a dynasty? The dynasty starts after you, not with you. He plays with heart, knows the ins and outs of the defense. I want to be quite frank, I made the ins and outs of our defense. I guess that's why they like him over there. I'm trying to figure out why they like you in Memphis. Or do they like you in Memphis?
Oh, man.
That's a better question. I'm not sure your teammates like you, but I can tell you why they like me over there. When you contribute in the way that I have contributed to 4 championships, they tend to like you. So next time you speak up on me, you should do some fact checking. Next time you speak up on me, you should do some soul searching. Next time you speak up on me, I hope you're in a better situation than you in now, where the guys you play with actually enjoy playing with you because they actually think you're contributing to winning. Because it ain't happening right now, champ. You're not a champ. You're a clown. It ain't happening for you.
Holy shit, he is good at that.
No.
What happened?
No.
Adam
Tell me-
Schefter.
no,
The Jets have
no.
agreed
No.
to send a draft pick to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange for safety Chuck Clark.
Ooh, he's a good veteran piece.
What?
No.
The move before the move before the move.
Chuck Clark?
That was like, when we go to a baseball game and you hear that swing of the bat, crack, and everyone,
There's a drive to left field. Down the line. If it stays fair, it's gone. It's foul.
It's not even foul. It like drops in shallow.
It's
outfield.
20 yards short.
Right.
I called a home run, Tony. And
That wasn't a home run.
No,
Didn't
I
Chris
was
do
like,
that at the Marlins
As
game?
soon as the ball was hit, I said, that's staying, and it was gone.
This was great gamesmanship by Adam Schefter, by the way, because there was a tweet before that tweet, and the tweet was, and the Jets just agreed to a trade. ...
Is it
That's
possible?
mobile alerts everywhere. We're ready for
Well
it.
done by Shefty.
Is it possible
Boo.
while eating Baba Ganoush that Aaron Rodgers just said, "Get Chuck Clark," without promising them that he's going there? Cut Braxton Berrios.
No. You know what the ask is? Replace Braxton Berrios with Randall Cobb.
Tom Brady
Or
can't eat
Jordy
Baba
Nelson.
Ganoush.
Jordy Nelson.
Show me you're serious and get Randall Cobb.
Nightshades.
I do like the idea of him just picking a random player in the league. Like, just get this random person and then I'll come.
You know what LeBron did with Shabazz Napier?
It was. And we did it.
Yes.
And he still left us.
If Chuck Clark is in, I'm in.
And all we got was this lousy Shabazz Napier.
It's the perfect name.
Let's spin the wheel again, please. See what it lands on. Stugotz, what did it land on? Nope. Oh, what did it land on there?
VanVleet.
Oh, I've been waiting for
It's
this.
a weird
one.
name.
Now, I have a request. Let me set this sound up.
I mean,
The Raptors lost. Brett VanVleet came out, and he was very angry, and he was talking about one specific referee, Ben Taylor. And he went on, and he basically said, I'll take the fine. I'm going to say this. I get it. I know we're a family podcast. I am requesting humbly, can we play this unedited? Because the bleeps take away from it. You have to hear it unedited. Can we just say on the front end, everybody, hey,
There's a couple F words.
Yeah.
there's a bunch of F words.
This note would
Can
have
we not-
helped before I edited the sound.
You cannot make he's storming out of the studio because the wheel of sound
Hey,
is-
edited sound.
When you hear a bleep, it's the F word.
Yeah. 'cause
It's
we're
the only
professionals.
word we bleeped. There's a few other curses.
He doesn't want to hear the sound. He's been waiting for it all day. We need you to react.
By the
Sit
way,
back
It was
down.
your sound.
It's your sound.
You're mad because you can't hear F words?
You have a meeting?
Because we are adulterating great sound.
I slept with their husband or something?
We're cheating on the sound.
let's play the sound.
What are we
Who
doing?
am I adulterating?
I mean, I don't mind. I'll take a fine. I don't really care. I thought, Ben Taylor was terrible tonight. I thought that on most nights, a couple of the, out of the three, there's one or two that just the game up, and it's been like that a couple games in a row. Denver was tough, obviously. You come out tonight, you're competing pretty hard. The third quarter, I get a bullshit tech, changes the whole dynamic of the game, changes the whole flow of the game. And, most of the refs are trying hard. I like a lot of the refs. They're trying hard. They're pretty fair. They communicate well. And then you got the other ones who just want to be dicks and just kind of the game up. Nobody's coming to see that shit. They come to see the players. And I think we're losing a little bit of the fabric of what the NBA is and was. And it's been disappointing this season. You can look up, most of my texts this year have been with Ben Taylor officiating. So at a certain point as a player, you feel it's personal. And it's never a good place to be. That's not why we lost tonight. We got outplayed, but it definitely makes it tougher to overcome.
That is the sound of guaranteed money right there. He would not talk like that before.
That's a hefty fine.
Oh, shit. Is that going to be a fine? And there is something surgical about the insult of calling a referee a dick. It's just not something you hear
Bunch of
very
dicks.
often. You do not hear
Not mincing words.
that sound very often. I mean, you have served your penalty off the mic, furious. I think the 2 minutes are up.
We really should have bleeped that word. That word offended me. And there are other words in there. One started with the B and ends with a it. I didn't like that word either.
Yes.
I'm out of here.
Oh, wow. Now we've got prurient. We've got really puritanical people out here. Well, we've got conflict, though. Amin wants a dirtier show, and Jess wants a cleaner one. So I don't know what to do other than spin the wheel again. Let's spin the wheel again because Amin is not near a microphone to give us any opinions here.
MMA fighter who wants to fight Jimmy Kimmel. Wow. What's this about?
Wait a minute, Jessica. That was not 2 minutes. What are you doing back in here?
2 seconds.
What kind of protest was that?
I want to hear the sound.
Oh.
So all those doubting my NFT, you're looking at the guy. That's the reason that college athletes and high school athletes are getting paid today. Mr. Influencer to influencers. Secondly, Jimmy Kimmel, viral this. I fight to eradicate childhood malnutrition from the planet. And until they release the flight logs, you, the mainstream media, Hollywood, are all pedophiles to me. Eat dick.
I'm leaving again.
What's happening, man?
Oh, so we're going to play that.
That was a random word generator of sound.
Flight
Odd
logs?
dismount, too.
I like the idea of Jimmy Kimmel watching like lower tier MMA where this guy is and being like, "What the? What? Come on, wait! I didn't even
Like
do
his
anything."
one night off of the week. He's just like, oh,
Big,
come on!
big low tier MMA guy, and then sees that.
Wait, is there a connection? Like, did he just pick Jimmy Kimmel at random?
I was assuming he was like there.
I thought Jimmy Kimmel said something
ringside.
about him or made a joke about him, and that's why
He has an NFT.
People hating on it too. Which I understand.
He's the reason, by the way.
That he's the reason for, and I thought that was Ed O'Bannon.
What's on the flight logs? Do we know the flight logs? What the hell he's talking about?
Yeah, the Epstein flight logs.
Fight logs?
Oh,
Flight
the
logs?
Epstein.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay,
thought he said
didn't.
fight logs.
Yeah. He fights malnutrition, but then he took up, human trafficking as well.
Jimmy Kimmel know what he did. So just
We're sass.
Spin the wheel one more time, please.
Looks like Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Lucky day.
This is about selfies on an airplane when an airplane
Has to be good.
might be going down. He doesn't like people taking pictures on an airplane that is headed to certain catastrophe.
He's right.
And one other thing on the planes before I take another quick break, when you're in midair crisis, as all these people are, how do people think about taking cell phone pictures? I don't understand. You got babies that end up in different rows. You got stewards and the flight attendants up there, heads hitting roofs. You got trays of food all over the place. People barfing with the barf bags all over the plane, and you got all these fans out there on TikTok taking the photographs. Well, they sell it in the TMZ. They're about to go down in flames, say goodnight to the world, chuck out, and they're taking photographs on their phone. It's the amazing. Isn't that the last thing you think about? Honey, we're about to crash. Take some pictures just for the hell of it. I don't understand. They're all taking the photographs. You're on a plane that's in trouble. You're on that plane United that almost fell into the ocean. They sent the pilots to private training school after that, by the way. They gave them extra training. You're on the plane from United, and you almost crashed in the Pacific Ocean. You're going to have the missus there. By the way, when we go nose first into the ocean, take a couple of pictures just in case they find the camera floating like Castaway and Tom Hanks 20 years from now. We can have fake pictures of our last moments. What? It's on. They save it on these SoundCloud, everything.
SoundCloud.
I don't understand. What are people doing? That's what you're thinking about? When you're in dire straits at 37,000 feet, let me take photographs? What are you trying? How about saying a Hail Mary? God, get me out of this. My God. 7 in front of the hour.
He has to do it. He has to. It's a staple.
Just giving the time. Somebody's out there, they're laughing, snorting in their car, and they're like, what time is it? Oh, I'm thankful that he just told me that it was 7 before the hour.
I'm literally sitting here screaming. This is the most boomer fucking take I've ever heard in my life.
Now we can. Now we can have bombs.
Now the cursing is allowed.
7 in front of the hour. I don't understand.
You know my favorite part is him kick save and abusing stewardesses. He's the guy that stewards, and flight
7 in
attendants.
front of the hour.
No, I love that he's railing against your grabbing your phone as you're about to die, but he would grab a barf bag.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Barfing with their barf bags.
Such a confusing way to say the time, though.
What is the time? What was it?
It's 7:53, something
What?
53. But it's just like,
53. It's
I'm
53.
thinking too
7
much.
in
Like,
front of
just
the
tell me
hour?
7 in front of the hour. Yeah.
I thought it was
7 in front of the
07.
hour.
I thought it was like the hour and then
Yes.
7 more minutes in front of it.
7 in front of the hour.
I thought it was like 107.
So
No,
6:53?
it's
It's like when you say
There were
quarter
7
2.
minutes left in the hour. That's
7 in front of the hour.
Yeah.
But of what hour?
Right. Doesn't
Whatever
even-
hour
Whatever
it is
hour,
on.
yeah, whatever
national
hour.
show.
So it's not 7
That's
o'clock?
your problem with this?
7 in front of the hour.
What hour? I need
He's
to
talking.
know.
Okay, what he's talking about here, because I feel like most people aren't aware
I'm
of this.
imagining a plane was like crashing
Well,
down and
there-
people
well,
were
there was-
taking
there
photos.
was,
Bad
there was a
turbulence,
flight that
yeah.
took off from Texas going to Frankfurt. It was a Lufthansa flight, and they fell apparently 300 feet in the air during a storm, and it caused severe turbulence. It was like an hour and a half into the flight, and people got hurt because it was during dinner service, and so food went everywhere. Like people were really like jostled around. And after things had kind of like smoothed out, this woman took out her phone and was taking a video of the aftermath. There was food everywhere. There were tray tables in the middle of the aisle.
I
It
don't
was
understand.
exactly. It was completely silent on the plane. Like, and she was saying like what happened, and like we haven't heard from the pilots in an hour. We don't know what's going on. People are hurt. And then they finally did an emergency landing in Washington, and people had to go to the hospital.
My God.
She posted on TikTok and it went viral because it's so terrifying. And luckily, I think everyone was okay. Like, no one got, like, seriously hurt. I'm not 100% sure on that. But he's freaking out because this person took out her phone and took a video of something.
That's what you're thinking about?
I mean, it is odd to, like,
I don't get
it is an odd thing to be like, I just almost died, and my first reaction is I need to document this so I can show people, like.
My God.
Matthew McConaughey's wife was on this flight.
7 in front of the hour.
I just thought to myself, what a useless contribution from Amin, but then saved by 7 in front of the hour.
When I sell it in the TMZ, they're about to go down in flames.
You never worry about that, Dan?
They're all taking the photographs.
The time?
You're on a plane that's in trouble.
McConaughey's
No,
wife?
that you're on a plane. And
You're
it's-
on a plane that's in trouble.
If I see a celebrities on my plane, I'm like, this ain't going down.
I'm
good.
just saying, like, they're not
Yeah.
going to remember
I don't know
you.
about
That's what
that.
I'm thinking about.
I was once on a flight with Bob McAdoo. I'm like, we're good.
My God.
I have the opposite thought.
There is something soothing about Bob McAdoo.
You're on a plane that's in trouble.
I'm with Chris.
It was to Italy.
That's what you're thinking about?
Look at this guy.
My in-laws paid.
My God.
What's the big deal? She took out her phone and took a video that then served
I
the
mean,
people
I
who are watching the
understand.
video by understanding what happened. Like, this is good journalism right here.
I understand. You got babies that end up in different rows. You got stewardesses, stewards.
That part I didn't hear about.
Babies in different rows.
That part I
understand.
can't confirm.
You got babies that end
Someone's
up in
like,
different
"Where's
rows.
this
You got
baby come from?"
stewards and
Excuse me,
and the flight attendants up.
I think this is my seat. And there's a baby there like, no, I've been sitting here the whole time.
That's what you're thinking about?
What time is it, by the way?
What does he think
7 in front of the hour.
a SoundCloud is, and what is?
I love that he started laughing at himself before he delivered
I
it.
don't
You're
know.
gonna have the missus there. By the way, when we go nose first into the ocean, take a couple of pictures just in case they find the camera. SoundCloud, everything called the iCloud.
Yeah,
Hall of Famer, man.
SoundCloud, everything called the iCloud. 7 in front of the hour.
In the Dolphin facilities, Stugotz,
There's a slide there.
you guys all saw that Dan Marino does have an office there, and we all thought that Dan Marino should have had a larger office there. It would be pretty amazing if Tom Brady comes in, gets a bigger office, has part ownership of the team, and says, and also, Dan, I'll be playing with your number now.
Do you think
Can I have
Dan?
your office?
Do you think he uses that office?
He does, allegedly.
Really?
Yeah, he's
I
in
feel
there a
like it
bit.
could be like one of those like prop stage doors that it's like just a door painted on a wall with a handle, and he wouldn't know because he didn't have to use it.
No, well, it's Brady's office now.
What a day that would be in this town.
I'm telling
Marino
you,
losing everything.
the Patriot fan,
Marino!
the Patriot fan would welcome the act I just what I just painted for you as a Godfather move. The Patriot fan would be fine with him retiring a Dolphin if the move at the end was just to walk into Marino's past and be like, not only did I dominate the team after you, but also I'm better than you through echoing eternity. I have a larger office and I want your number. It's unretired. They got that kid Tua out of here so that I could play my 46th year of life on a football field.
How fun is that AFC championship between the Jets and the Dolphins going to be?
Oh, my God.
I figured this out, guys.
A third matchup?
They still have Tua right now on the rookie deal, so they can spend some money. You bring Tom Brady in, wait for it, as the backup.
No, Tua can back
And
him
then
up.
when Tua's healthy, we get what
No.
Dan's looking for, the healthy
Backup.
Tua.
No.
Yeah.
And then as soon as
Backup.
and then everyone says Tua's going to get hurt. As soon as that happens,
If
imagine that. You think
As a backup.
if that happens,
Jameis Winston's the best backup.
making
You
an
think
open-
Jameis is the best backup.
I'm making an open
if
competition.
that happens,
But you said Tom didn't want to
No,
get hit.
No, open competition.
if that happens,
Tua, between
No,
Tua
it
and
works.
Skylar Thompson.
I think Chris has on to something. I think Chris is on to something.
He doesn't want to get hit anymore,
Yeah.
Stugotz.
Why
He can take
play the
full-
first half of the season?
Yeah.
Who wants to get hit, Tua?
You're cute.
It's a good point, I think, by Chris.
Thank you.
He's ready for the playoffs, healthy, hasn't been hit.
He can stay on. Tua can stay on as a backup, provided that he beats out Skylar Thompson
He's
in
a
the quarterback
starter.
competition.
Mike, you're just forgetting like Tua when he is healthy with McDaniel's offense. really good.
Yeah, you're forgetting the greatest quarterback of all time
Okay,
is
but
available.
all right, I'll acknowledge Tom Brady would be fine in this offense.
Yeah, no,
now
he'd be
you're
fine.
you're just sitting here saying Lamar Jackson if he's healthy and Tua if he's healthy, like that would be
There's no such thing.
better.
No, there's Lamar Jackson and Tua can't say healthy.
You just compared him to Skylar Thompson. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Oh, Tua?
Yes.
I'm just going off of what I
Did
saw at
you-
the end of the season.
When one was injured and the other one was playing.
Precisely. When
you
one
sound
was
crazy.
playing, the greatest ability is what?
Availability.
Thank you, Juju.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Tua's
Juju.
available. He's been cleared.
Again,
Judo.
I want everyone listening to what we're doing to understand that it's 2023.
They're still listening.
No one's listening anymore.
No, you're giving us far too much
40 minutes
credit.
in. No one's listening.
Whoever is, though.
And we're talking about Tom Brady's 46th year of life.
I'm a fan free agent. You seal this deal with Brady, I'm in.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
Dolphin.
You're willing to
I'm
close.
Dolphin.
See this?
Oh
He's
my
just
God.
so emotional
He's
about this.
willing to close.
Yeah.
You've sat out a year. You've been in purgatory for a year.
No, I had a wonderful year. I won a championship last year. It was a heartbreaking loss for my other team, but a great win for my other team.
You were rooting for all of football last year, and you never did choose
Honestly,
a
the
team.
biggest loser was the NFL in the Super Bowl because of the turf thing.
You never did choose a team.
No, and I loved it. I chose the sport, and I think this is what's best for the sport. Tom Brady to Miami.
It'd be so great.
I would love to see you guys all happy because you signed Tom Brady. You're going to the Super Bowl.
Well, you'd be happy too. You're a Dolphin fan.
I would be.
Yeah.
It would officially
Yeah.
I'd be a Dolphin fan.
Would you not be happy, Dan? It seems like you wouldn't be happy if this happened.
I can't believe we're talking about it.
You're
Why are
tainted.
you
You
saying
did
that?
that-
I'm
but
not
you
happy
did that-
about
you
it.
did
Would
that
you
event
be
with Tua
happy?
back in
How
the
many
day.
times you gonna fall
Yeah.
for this?
I'm a
You're on
Tua
the
guy
tape.
too, Dan.
Yeah.
Tua still
have to-
could be on the team.
Recuse yourself from the conversation. You did an event with Tua once where you emceed. You're on the tape.
Conflicted.
Yep.
Conflicted.
Yep. Bias.
Wow.
Tainted jury pool.
Unbelievable.
Ethics.
What are you accusing me
You
of?
did that thing in the
Unethical.
parking garage
Yeah.
with Tua
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whoa.
Yep.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know.
No,
I
it
want to
was
know
like
what
yeah.
it was like a Super Bowl DirecTV thing.
Yeah, it wasn't sexual.
in a parking, like you made it, like you're like you did that thing with him in a
Well, it's
parking
like a-
garage.
Maybe.
I park cars in a parking garage. I don't know what you're doing. You pee in a parking garage.
I have.
I have.
Tim Kurkjian. Does Mike Budenholzer look like an exorcist who is in way over his head?
The Exorcist is the only movie that I walked out on. I couldn't take it. I was scared to death, and I left. And then when the Heretic came out, which was the sequel, my brother and his goofball friends at Catholic University told me we were going out to eat and all that stuff. Instead, they took me to the Heretic, and I refused to go in, and they literally carried me into the theater and made me sit and watch it because they knew how afraid I was of The Exorcist. That's what a wimp I was in college, and I still am.
They physically carried you into
Carried me. Now, my brother's friends were really big and strong and lunatics, all of them, and I loved them all. They went out drinking one night, and during their drinking, they went out of the parking lot and moved the car from one parking space to the other. That's how crazy those guys were. So it was not difficult to pick up someone who weighed 130 pounds and carried him into the movie theater. Draw a few strange looks from the guy taking the tickets, like, what are you doing with him? But that's what happened.
Will you be watching the new Russell Crowe flick, The Pope's Exorcist, when it comes out in theaters?
Love Russell Crowe, but the Exorcist word just really gets to me, and I will probably not be watching that. Look, I've acknowledged what a wimp I am. I am not in the business of being scared. I don't enjoy that. If I'm going to go see a movie, which I rarely do, I don't want to be scared. I also can't do roller coasters, and I can't do anything high or anything fast or anything scary. I'm just terrible at that stuff.
Is The Exorcist like the line? Like, what if it was like The Muppets Exorcist? Like, would you watch that?
Well, yeah, if it's the Muppets, it would be funny. And it's just pointless for me to watch this stuff. It's not going to be pleasurable, and so I'm not going there.
How old were you when you walked out of The Exorcist, and how far into the movie were you when you walked out of The Exorcist?
I was 17. The movie had just come out, so I didn't even know anything about it. And pre-internet, you don't get all these reports like this is the scariest movie I've ever seen or anything. So I knew nothing about it other than it's going to be a little scary. And I walked out about halfway through it because I couldn't watch it anymore. I was terrified, literally. I had trouble walking downstairs in my house at night after watching The Exorcist.
How many horror movies have you seen in your life? And when was the last time you saw a horror movie?
I haven't seen one in a long time. Poltergeist was probably the last one that I saw, and that was fascinating, but I only had to see that once, and I got through the whole thing. But, the other ones, I just can't go there. It's just pointless for me.
Would you watch the Saw movies for charity?
No. Oh,
charity, Tim.
Charity,
Tim. Tim,
right,
actually, Tim, we could.
I think this is abundantly clear. I would do anything for charity. I would watch the Saw movies, but I can't promise I would keep my eyes open for the whole thing.
I believe that we should put this together, a horror marathon where Tim Kurkjian has to, for charity, just watch several horror movies.
And we get to watch him watch the horror movies?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And, But then we would raise money for charity. I think we have to figure out how to do this. We are happy to see him. We're always happy to see him. Billy is already complaining. It did not take long, Kurkjian. Takes your sport millions of years to shift anything. Now they've gone very quickly to, okay, we figured this out. We're going to have a pitch clock. And now Stugotz and Billy are already here saying the game is moving too fast. Slow it down.
Well, just saying, Tim, slow it down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to go 0 to 100. Let's just slow it. And I heard you talking to Mike before the show, and you're going along with this change. And we need someone like you to kind of like dig in a little bit and say, you know what? Too much, too soon. Let's slow it down. It's the national pastime, you know what I mean? Not the national, express lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally understand. Look, we're never getting back to Tommy John's first major league victory, which was a 3-hit shutout over the Indians, and the game lasted an hour and 34 minutes. We're never going back to that, not when the strikeout rate is where it is. But look, I'm in the camp of we got to try something else. Too many walks, too many strikeouts, too many homers, not enough action, too much dead time. I'm with all of that. Now, you still have to prove to me for an entire spring training that this is going to work. But so far, I've been really pleasantly surprised how quickly the players have adjusted to this. I did a 12-7 game. It lasted 2 hours and 59 minutes. Normally, that's a 4-hour game. I did another game, 21 strikeouts, 17 walks. That's a 4-hour and 15-minute game, and it was over in 3:05. And the most encouraging sign was Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, told me a week ago, he said, yesterday we played a game in Orlando without a clock because they didn't have the technology there, and we still played in 2 hours and 30 minutes because the players were already conditioned to playing quicker. Let's get on the mound and throw it. Let's get in the box and hit it. That's what we're looking for. I am not looking necessarily for quicker games. I'm looking for better games, and better games include more action. That's all.
Well, so that's another thing we were talking about is that I've been looking at the game times and the box scores daily to kind of see how is this actually speeding up the game? How are the games? And what I found, which has kind of been interesting, is you'll have those 2-hour, 14-minute games, 2-hour, 15-minute games. And then you have, and granted it's spring training, but you have like the 17-run games that still go 3 hours, right? So it's speeding it up or it's creating a lot of offense at the exact same time. So either way, you're not going to have a 4-hour game, but it seems like you also may not have the tight games anymore.
Right. Well, that's certainly possible. I mean, this is a work in progress, and we're not sure how this is going to go. I said I was pleasantly surprised by this. I was also surprised so far this spring that it's the hitters, at least I'm told, who have to make more adjustments than the pitchers. Look, it's impossible to hit in the big leagues these days. The pitching is so indescribably good. And now you're going to ask a hitter, you're going to be in a hurry. You're going to have to rush your at bat. When you're trying to get a hit off Corbin Burns throwing a cutter at 96 miles an hour. It is harder to be in a rush as a hitter than it is as a pitcher. And a bunch of pitchers, most of them veteran pitchers, smart pitchers, have figured out how to manipulate the system for their own benefit. I asked Justin Verlander, do you like the rules? He looked at me and smiled and said, oh, I love the rules. I asked Garrett Cole, do you like the rules? Oh, love the rules. Max Scherzer loves the rules, the mad scientist. He has already got into the hitter's head. I was at a game where a kid stepped in the box with 18 seconds to go on the pitch clock. And Scherzer stared at that kid for 14 seconds. In baseball, if you stare at somebody for 3 seconds, you are told in the 60s, you get out of the box and make him reset. Scherzer himself told me 8 seconds is an eternity holding the ball on the mound. He held it for 14 seconds. That's what our really good pitchers are doing. So I find it interesting. We're making up these rules in order to help the hitters, to get the ball in play more often, to get them to swing and hit it more often. And it's possible this is going to help the pitchers more than it's going to help the hitters. We'll see.
But, Timmy, I'm living in a day where I'm rushing to get home. I'm rushing to get through my meal. I'm rushing to get through a movie. I'm rushing to do this. I'm rushing to do that. Baseball was one of the last places we had where you just sit around, you're not rushing, and you just wait. If it takes 3 hours, so be it. If it takes 7 hours, so be it. It was one of the last places we had left on Earth where you're not in a rush. And now we're rushing to a baseball game.
Put a ball pit in the outfield to make it more interesting. What are you on about?
No. One of the beauties of baseball, guys, we all know is that you didn't have to watch all of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You turn it on and you
now
go
you
and
miss everything.
Exactly.
I mean,
you iron a shirt, whatever. You know, you've only missed a pitch or two. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Yeah, Billy, I agree with you on this.
Thank you.
Before I did the first 3 spring training games from the booth, I watched the first spring training game that we did on TV. I watched every single pitch of a spring training game. And I can tell you, as much as I love the game, it's been years since I watched every single pitch because I had to make sure I saw everything and that nothing happened that I couldn't explain. And then I covered 3 straight games in the booth and I watched every pitch. So I watched every pitch of 4 straight spring training games. It's been a while since I've done that, but this is what you have to do. So look, I'm with you guys. I don't want to rush the game. It's a beautiful sport.
Timeless
I don't think
game.
we need, but we need to make some changes because our beautiful sport doesn't value the hit anymore. We don't value athleticism like we used to. We don't value someone who can go first to third or steal second. We don't care about that and we don't incentivize it. That's why I'm all in favor of trying these things with the understanding is if they don't work by opening day, then we make a change. But I've checked with major league officials and they told me we're not going to make any changes. These are the rules. It's up to the players to adapt. And so far they have.
I love that an argument is being made that the sport commanding more of your attention is a bad thing. That something is more compelling and more interesting. Let's slow this thing down.
No, the ponds in the outfield were to make the game more fun.
Yeah.
Okay? But now it's sped up. It's like, look, you go to the bathroom, you're going to miss some action. I want to go to the bathroom knowing I'm going to miss nothing. That's what I'd like to do.
Okay.
In fact, I want 6 outs per inning, Timmy. How about
Put it
that?
on the poll, please, Juju, at LeBatard Show. Should baseball change its times based on Stugotz's bathroom habits? Let me ask you this, Tim Kurkjian. Does Cam Newton look like he owns multiple vehicles, all of them named after the women listed in Mambo number 5? Does Brian Daboll look like he works the cash register at the State Line Diner on Route 17, urging every customer to take 2 toothpicks for the drive home? They're still free, last I checked.
Dan, texted me yesterday, and Dan texted me just for fun. Please tell all the people who don't understand this one what the greatest looks like ever is, please.
Well, he thinks it is that Adnan Virk is the guy who shows up in the Bond movie to help James Bond and says, "Welcome to Tangiers, Mr. Bond." And it is one of the greatest ever. But
He's
this
wearing a white suit when James Bond gets off the plane and helps him down.
That's right. No, he is. Does Greg Norman look like he owns an island where he hunts other men for sport?
He might actually do it.
He might actually.
He might, yeah.
He might actually own that island. Tim, among the offseason moves, who's more interesting? You have to give me an answer to this. Who's more interesting than the Padres?
I don't think anyone's more interesting than the Padres. Look, I love the Angels because of Mike Trout, who's going to come back and be a monster again, and the whole Shohei Ohtani, what's going to happen to him next. But look at where the Padres are. They added a new shortstop in Xander Bogaerts and signed him into his 40s. They're taking their all-star shortstop, Fernando Tatis Jr., and putting him in the outfield, which they should, by the way, because it's a better move for that team. And, of course, he'll play there once his suspension ends. They just gave Manny Machado $350 million. He is, by the way, 30 years old and over half the way to 3,000 hits. I hope people understand what we're watching here. They have a closer who throws 100 miles an hour as a free agent at the end of the season. And, of course, they have Juan Soto, who's going to, if I were him, I would walk in and ask for an extension today. He might get $500 million in an extension because Peter Seidler, the owner of the team, is spending money at an outrageous rate. He's trying to build a winner that can finally beat the Dodgers and finally win the World Series. And so, yes, they're the most fascinating team in baseball for me.
You kind of petered out there.
Oh, sorry. I was going to finish with, and their general manager, AJ Preller, is like the greatest basketball player, not playing in a uniform right now. And he plays every single day at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then he goes to work, signs people, makes trades, never sleeps, and wakes up the next morning and plays some more.
That's why he's great. He's playing at 5 a.m. All the good players are asleep.
Does Roger Goodell look like he routinely inquires at the front desk if the art in his hotel room is for sale? Does Pete Carroll look like he has a golden retriever named Daisy? Does Jokic look like the guy who walks around his neighborhood in his bathrobe while talking to his bookie so his wife doesn't yell at him?
Hey, is he the greatest passing big man ever? I mean, better than Walton, better than all those guys? I'm just asking. You guys know better.
No,
Yes.
you know better. You know better. You love basketball. You got three guys in the sport.
It seems like Timmy thinks that he is.
You've got three. Giannis, Jokic, and
Arvydas Sabonis would like a word.
Right. Sabonis was great. There's no doubt. But this guy runs the floor, shoots the three, and makes the pass. I think he's the best passing big guy, and there's passing in the half court. Bill Walton was great at that. There's, passing full court. Wes Unseld was the greatest of all time at that. I watched him at a camp once. He threw the ball off the backboard, caught it in midair, turned in midair, and threw it and hit the backboard at the other end of the floor, 94 feet away. But this guy passes in the half court and in full court really, really well. It's so impressive watching him play.
That Wes Unseld story can't be real. Like, I've heard this story before, and I refuse to believe it.
It's true. He was indescribably strong, 6'7", second in the league in rebounding like 12 times, playing against all those big guys.
Timmy, 3-pointer for your life. Larry Bird, JJ Redick. Who you got?
Oh, I'm taking Larry Bird in any shooting contest of any sort.
Yep.
Larry would be second to Steph Curry today.
Mm-hmm.
No one's better than Steph Curry. No one will ever be better than Steph Curry. Larry Larry would be the second best three-point shooter in the game, even better, freaking unbelievable. All you have to do is tell Larry you get an extra point if you go out there, and as a young guy, if you develop that, he would be the second best three-point shooter ever. I'll take him in any shooting contest except for Steph in a three-point shot contest.
How does Tim Kurkjian, who loves his basketball, and unlike your sport, because we're talking about the sport speeding up, and you've evolved with your sport, Tim, you're not one of these reluctant evolvers. When you watch basketball now as someone who loves basketball, do you love the style of play, or are you like many old people who are like, nope, I prefer Bird's Day?
All right, I could watch basketball all day no matter what style of play, but I'm sorry. The game in the 80s was better than the game today. Bird against Magic, Celtics against Lakers, Celtics against the Sixers. That was a better game than the game we played today. That's how I feel. All right, the players today are clearly bigger, stronger, faster, and probably better than ever. But the style of play was way better in the 80s than the one today. Now we get into the lane and kick it out to a three-point shooter. When Larry or anybody got into the lane, when I was watching in the 80s, they would kick it to the Chief or Kevin McHale for a dunk or a layup. Now we're kicking it to a three-point shooter. I understand the difference. I understand the importance of the three. I think basketball was played better in the 80s, and if I hear one more time that Larry Bird couldn't play in today's game, I'm going to scream, because that is the most preposterous thing I've ever heard.
And that's how it was back in my day.
That's right. Bring back the layup. They should, instead of a three-point contest on NBA All-Star Weekend, they should have a layup contest. Encourage what's not done anymore. Show us something different.
And someone told me to go ahead, yell at me again. Bill Russell could not play today. I've been told that before also. You've got to be kidding me. He could guard anyone in any era. 6'9", jumped out of the room. Wherever he played, he won a gold medal or an NBA championship. He's the greatest winner of all time. And they played, I told you, they played an inter-squad game once with the Celtics because Russell didn't like to practice. So Red Auerbach said, Russell, we're playing a scrimmage today, and you're playing hard. Do you understand? So Russell said, okay, Red, I will. They picked up teams. It wasn't the first team against the second team. They picked up teams. So there's stars on each side. Russell's team won 50-6. And he looked at Red and said, see what happens when I really try? I ruin the game. That's how good he was.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Would Jay Crowder bully Bill Russell? Would Jay Crowder
Blasphemy!
Would Jay Crowder bully 210-pound Bill Russell?
He would, though.
Tim, you have done maximum. Mike Ryan is disgusted right now at how ancient this show is sounding.
I'm sorry.
No, Mike Ryan is
good,
Mike
Tim.
Ryan says you sound on the subject of basketball the way he sounds on the subject of baseball, which is just longing for another time, a different time before everybody was the best and we can just slow everything down and our time could be the best time because it was the 80s.
Look, the 80s were great in baseball also. I'm in the vast minority on this, but I think baseball was played better in the 80s than it is today. Now, the players are clearly, again, bigger, stronger, faster, and better than they were in the 80s. The style of play has changed so dramatically that I think baseball in the 80s was played better than it is today, and that's why they came up with these new rules to try to return things to a crisper pace, balls in play, guys valuing a hit, not just a home run. That's how I see it.
Tim, it's great to see you again. Thank you for being on with us. Does Mike McDaniel look like he enjoys explaining the cloud to your parents?
I wish someone would explain the cloud to me because it's all over my devices and I don't even know what it is. I have 2 televisions in my house. They're televisions, and I don't even know how to use them. It's terrible. They're like internet televisions. It's like it's a computer, but it's a television.
They're
I
smart
can't even
TV.
figure it out. I am
Oh,
so
no.
lost in
All
my own house.
Tim, this is embarrassing. So a smart television eludes you. What other? I am so eager to do the show where Tim Kurkjian can't figure out his devices. You are good about keeping up in your sport, Tim. You have not done so technologically.
No, I had to do a Zoom chat the other day, a podcast that lasted an hour. It took me 45 minutes on the phone to get my computer set to do the podcast. I had to cut and paste some sort of link that would lead me, and I didn't even know how to do it. It was embarrassing. So yes, you should just put a camera on me and watch me slap my forehead like, why can't I get better at this?
It's not you. I mean, back when baseball was baseball, you used to put a VHS in the VCR, and then, you get to like inning 6, and then you have to switch tapes and go and record. Now you just push one button on this remote you talk into, and then you have the games on. You have a million games. What are we doing here?
Too easy.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for having me, guys. Sorry I'm so old.
He was done with us, Billy. He was done with us.
Russell, God, that was terrible.
Kurkjian, we love you. We love seeing your face. You would agree that Andy Reid looks like the trucker who goes to Vegas only to eat the Clams Casino, correct? Yes, of course you would agree with that.
Don't mind if I do.
That's right. Don't mind if I do over there. Tim, it's good seeing you, buddy. Thank you, sir.
All right. See you guys.
See you, Timmy.
And now it is time to take a trip
I'm
down
more
memory
concerned with how many
lane.
of these Mike knows.
Here's your guy, Greg Cote,
Same.
with Back in My Day.
Content. Content. We don't just live our lives anymore. We perform our lives. We record and chronicle and convey everything we've done to others under the mistaken impression our lives are noteworthy or interesting enough to merit broad attention. We used to be content to just be. Now we are only content if our lives are producing content. The rampant self-aggrandizing becomes a full-time job when you are thrust into the business of it, like me right now and those around me. We step courageously into the void each day, onto a blank canvas that needs filling. We lean into a mic and trust that anything said will at least be somewhat better than dead air. But it isn't just professional egotists who fall victim to content mania. It's everybody in all walks of regular life. Go to a concert and look around. It isn't enough to sit back, watch, listen, enjoy, and absorb the experience, because memories are not enough anymore. It's as if memories don't really even exist without corroborating proof. So there is the row behind you and a guy who is annoyingly, surreptitiously taking video of the song being performed. Who cares that the singer is an ant on the stage and the sound is lousy? I was there, see? We left early to beat the traffic, but I was there. Time was you'd be at the zoo having fun, and that was enough. Maybe you had a camera around your neck, but you wouldn't see the film for weeks till you had the role developed at Eckerd's. Now, everybody is taking selfies they can admire instantly, one after another, ad nauseum. We only see the animals with our back to them as we pose. You know what the giraffe is thinking as we human tourists do that? Assholes. The very existence. That's
Really?
right. That's what the giraffe is thinking. Yes.
Put it on the poll,
Assholes.
Juju. Does
It's a great question,
Does
yeah.
the giraffe think the people taking selfies are assholes?
Okay. The very existence and sole purpose of Instagram is as a platform enabling you to try to make your life seem better than the next person's. Twitter and YouTube exist to help you self-promote and ideally help fashion a cult of personality that translates to income and you not having to ever get a real job. TikTok exists to help perpetuate the sad myth that every little thing you do is magic, that every quirky dance move is an utter delight, possibly catching the eye of someone casting a new teen supergroup. You know how you can't really smoke cigarettes in public anymore? I predict our manic and metastasizing addiction to social media is going to lead to a proliferation of no-content zones. There will be safe places in public where smartphones and recording are not allowed, where we are forced to settle into a good book, enjoy each other's company and murmured conversation, or, imagine this, be alone in our own thoughts. It's a freedom you'd forgotten you had. I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day.
It's a great idea.
I don't want to think my own thoughts. That's what the phone is there to distract me from.
That's a fair comment.
I don't want to read.
Okay.
Mike Ryan, during the middle of that, said to me, as this hour continues to try and skew older than we did with Private Plane Flying Sister Jean and George Toma, he said correctly into my headset while Greg Cote was talking there that Greg Cote has done something to his appearance to make himself look like Rip Torn, the old comedian. And I don't know
if he was a comedian. He had comedic roles, no longer with us. Also, oddly, his first and last name are synonyms. I don't think
Rip
that's
Torn.
Ever,
yeah,
I don't really know if that's ever happened before.
Yeah.
But you got a Rip Torn vibe to you today.
The truth is, and I appreciate that. The truth is, I don't know if anybody's heard of the country outlaw singer Ray Wiley Hubbard. I'm actually going to portray him in a new Netflix film, and I am changing my appearance to resemble him. And I'm in the early stages of it. I haven't announced that before, but that's what's happening with my appearance right now.
Did Rip Torn...
Wait till it comes out, I'll get the last laugh.
Did Rip Torn indeed get, at some point during his career, fall asleep in a bank he was trying to rob?
He got into all sorts of legal issues.
Way.
I believe.
Way.
I believe that's a true
There's too
story.
much action. You're moving around. You're doing things. You're trying to get out before the cops come. How does one fall asleep during that?
Rip Torn robbing a bank?
That's the question. Thank you.
What? Did you just spit something out of your mouth? What was
Did I? I said that's the question.
I think Billy is
something
Billy
physically
is now,
spat out.
Bill, just Google for me Rip Torn and bank, and see what it is.
I think there was like medication involved or something, if I remember correct. It was a long time ago.
He died of complications from Alzheimer's, so it's like, and he got into all sorts of legal issues, and one could say that that was a contributing factor to everything that was going on with him.
He mistook the bank for his house.
He was trying to rob his house.
That's got to be the worst thing that happened to you, getting caught robbing a bank, right? Like falling asleep.
I mean, I wanted to ask you something. I don't know if you guys saw this. It happened during the Oklahoma City game. I told you last week or 2 weeks ago, I didn't think that the Atlanta Hawks promotion of making a shot from half court, the $10,000 was enough to give somebody who made a shot from half court. And it happened last night in OKC. A fan made a shot from half court and was given $20,000 for making the shot. But right next to him, an OKC Thunder employee who was very happy fell down violently, hit his head on the court, and also grabbed his knee like he had torn his ACL. And it made me
play.
It made me wonder. It made me wonder if that employee
now you're spitting
made more money in liabilities, in workplace liabilities, than the person who made the half-court shot. I don't know. My guess is that company employee that was serious injury. A knee. It looked like a concussion, and it also looked like a torn ACL.
So there's a couple of things, right? Like, number one, the teams don't give away the money on these shots. Actually, insurance companies underwrite it. Not even the sponsor gives away the money. It's underwritten by an insurance company. So that's one thing. But the other thing is, how did the guy get hurt? Was he jumping up and celebrating?
Yes.
Man, that's an occupational hazard, man. Ain't nobody asked him to do all that.
That's right.
All
It's his own fault.
Exactly. All you had to do is walk the guy out, say congratulations, welcome back. Ain't nobody asked him.
You don't think that's a workers' comp issue?
No.
Showboat.
Look at me, Louie.
You don't think enthusiasm is part of his job description? Like, he can't just stand there and not have any sort of expression on his face? I would argue, if I were him, that that's part of my job, is to be enthusiastic about the shot going in.
Yeah, but they have signs all over the building that say "enthuse safely."
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
They should.
But hold on, not yet, because I want to build off of what Greg just said. Today,
Not yet.
Yes,
Not yet. The show killer.
not yet. Let me do it, and then you can show kill me. I'm in the airport. I'm leaving, and there's a big ad for a bottle of wine. And you guys know, whenever there's alcohol or beer commercials or ads, they always say the fine print. What's it say in the fine print? What's it say? Drink responsibly, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Fat Joe. Bet
Right on.
responsibly, right? But on this wine ad, it said uncork responsibly. And I said, see, you're trying to be cute, but you're not covering yourself enough, because uncork responsibly just means, don't
Don't take that saber thing.
Yeah, don't do that.
But what if there was an incident? Cork to the eye, you know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying, like, I could uncork responsibly, but then drink irresponsibly. And that's the whole point of that fine print, is to tell people to drink responsibly. Now you can play the sound.
You can both go sit in the penalty box. You can sit together in the penalty box.
Listen, I've had a former brother-in-law lose an eye to a champagne cork.
That's true.
Everything being said is right on, accurate, spot on. So there.
I'm reading.
No laughing matter.
So there.
I'm reading the Oklahoma workers' comp eligibility requirements, and I don't know
How
this.
do you find that so quickly?
Google.com, Billy Gill.
She was in a union once.
I don't know the nature of this man's work, but it seems like it doesn't meet any of the exclusion requirements. Like, if this was part of his job, he wasn't in a parking lot. It wasn't engaged in a recreational or social activity for the employee's personal pleasure.
Have you seen the video, Jessica? Because the way this person fell, I thought to myself immediately, that person's going to get more than the $20,000 that this recipient just got.
I have not seen the video, but I would defend this man in court.
You sound like you're willing. You sound like you are ready to be the attorney.
Once
for
an
this.
SI union member, always an SI union member. She got
First
it.
chair of the union. Oh man, he got hurt. Yeah, that.
We stand with you.
Call me, sir.
We stand with you.
Call me. I'm not an attorney, but call me anyway.
Let me be the first to welcome you all back to another season of Formula One. There's 23 races on the calendar, the most ever in a season. New drivers are on the grid. Some drivers are off the grid, and old faces are in new places. So it's lights out and away we go in Bahrain. Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin gets hit on lap line by his teammate Lance Stroll, but he recovers. Charles Leclerc is racing hard against defending champ Max Verstappen, but the Red Bulls are fast. Rookie Oscar Piastri has to retire, and Lando Norris is getting air pumped into his car in the pit lane. Alonso is racing wheel-to-wheel with Mercedes and Ferrari to get to the podium. Bye-bye. Lando Norris is in the pit lane again. Sacre bleu. Charles Leclerc's Ferrari has to retire 40 laps into the season. Disaster has struck again, and Lando Norris is back in the pit lane. Verstappen and Perez take a massive lead over the rest of the pack and cruise to 1-2 finish, and Lando Norris is in the pit lane again. Fernando Alonso finishes on the podium for Aston Martin. A shock finish in Bahrain for the old man, and Lando Norris has to pit again. Who will beat the Red Bulls this year? Will Lando Norris ever stop pitting? Will Esteban Ocon stop getting penalties? Formula One is back.
Got us updated. You had some extra time there. You're moving quicker than
I think I'm
even
about to have a
last
heart
year.
attack.
Memphis goes hard. Memphis goes hard. Memphis goes hard. Memphis goes hard. Goes hard. Memphis it's hard. Memphis goes hard.
Waiting for Ken, trying to hook him up here.
Goes hard. Memphis goes hard.
Waiting for Ken, trying to hook him up here.
Akbar Bahia Mia. Bahia Mia.
They're the defending champs.
All right.
I'm going to
Go sit in the penalty
What
box. Goes hard. Bahia Mia. Goes hard.
Waiting for Ken. Waiting for Ken. Waiting for Ken. Waiting for Ken, trying to hook him up here. Ken, you with us? Ken, you with us? Kenny. Waiting for Ken. Ken, you with us? Kenny. Waiting for Ken. Kenny.
Goes hard. Bahia Mia. Bahia Mia. Goes hard. It's hard. 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 Hard.
Kenny. Kenny. Waiting for Ken. Ken, you with us? Ken, you with us? Ken, you with us? Ken, you with us?
They're the defending champs.